Okay, let's move on then to problem number 3. And it reads the mineral owner grants a 1/8 royalty. It's a 1/8 royalty lease to the oil company, which assigns, meaning the oil company assigns a 3% overriding royalty interest to the geologist. Okay, so let's look at what our division order pay sheet and what our um, joint interest billing pay sheet is going to look like. Well, first of all, we've got to get all the people down that are owners in this property. And so we'll start with the mineral owner. Then we'll cover the geologist. And then the last owner is the lessee, the oil and gas company. Now, the mineral owner, once they lease, is known as the lessor. They continue to own 100% of their minerals. But after they lease, remember, they give all of their working interest to the lessee. So we're going to give that to the lessee down here, and the lessor is going to end up with 0. Now, here's where the net revenue interest comes in. What is the royalty payment? In this case, the royalty payment is 1/8 or a 0.125 interest. All right, so now let's see what the geologist owns. The geologist owns an overriding royalty. That means he is entitled to 0% of the minerals. He doesn't actually own any of the minerals. He's entitled to 0% working interest, and he's entitled to his 3% overriding royalty interest. Okay? So that means the oil and gas company's interest is going to be, if we have a 1/8 royalty, we know it's going to be 7/8, so it equals 100. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that, let's start with we're going to take that 1.0 interest and we're going to deduct from it the 0.125. That's what they owe the landowner in royalties. And they also own a 3% royalty to Joe Geologist over here. Okay? And so who pays for this 3% royalty interest? Does the royalty owner or does the working interest owner? It's the working interest owner that pays for any overriding royalties. And that's why you'll hear overriding royalty oftentimes described as a royalty interest, and they use the words carved out of the working interest. And that just means that the, the oil and gas company, the lessee, is going to have to pay that 3% override. It doesn't come out of the lessee's 1/8 royalty. It comes out of the the lessee's um, working interest. So let's just, to make sure our math is accurate, we're going to go 1 minus 0.125 minus the 3% override. Oh, I did that wrong. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Let's see, 1 minus 0.125 and then minus, oh my goodness, sorry about this. So we've got 1 minus, okay, we've got 1 minus the 0.125 royalty interest, and then minus the 0.03 or the 3% overriding royalty interest. And that's going to give their interest as 84.5%. So the lessee's interest in the working interest is 100%, meaning they're going to pay all the bills. So the working interest is going to be 100%, but the net revenue interest is going to be 0.845. Okay? So let's clean up some of that just to make it crystal clear for you what's going on. So because the landowner granted an oil and gas lease, they've given their 100% working interest to the lessee. They keep their 100% minerals, but they get a 1/8 royalty, and then geologists get the 3% overriding royalty, and then the lessee gets a 0.845 net revenue interest. Okay, so now let's move on to number 4.